should be live. Let me double check my feed. Hello. Videos. Do we got a live video? Hello. It should be going. Oh, here we are. All right. I think we're live.
Nice.
Both are live. What do you want to teach today, Coach Kevin?
Since on Monday we did the Armbar Defense, I want to go over the other possibilities for when a person is attacking from high side, particularly from when a person manages to get the gift wrap from mount and starts to like turn a person onto their side. Like it's a good path to the back that can be problematic. Right, so
Whenever I'm in mount, I never go for arm locks. I just always go right for the grounded pound. I just always strike.
yes,
Just to let you know.
foundational jiu-jitsu.
Just that's what you should be doing up here.
Right, so the gift wrap is something that comes up a lot, especially with beginners, because from the person on bottom's perspective, right? Like we want to escape. Normally, the escape is going to be like some sort of hip or elbow escape. In order to do that, right, we can't be flat. We need to turn onto our side, right? So we always tell people like, don't be flat, right? So everyone always is like, okay, we're going to turn onto our side here, right? And we're going to start shrimping. But the problem is, right, as I do this, people will normally start to try and push this elbow across and try and get a gift wrap here, right? So, yeah, right? So here, this is going to be really problematic, right? He's got a lot of control over my hand, right? I'm not going to be able to just pull this elbow back here. So once I get gift wrapped, right, my normal kind of procedure here is I'm going to wait for them to make a transition of some kind, right? Because he simply has like too much control over this elbow for me to just be able to fight this back, right? And I mean, I do have the option, I guess, to go belly down, but that's probably going to get you more trouble than it's worth. Right, so the two main transitions that Rich has here, right, are the armbar like we did on Monday and the back take, right? So again, for the armbar, right, as soon as he decouples his forearm from my head, he brings it around to the neck here, right? Once he's pushing down here, I know that I need to start preparing for armbar, right? So I'm already protecting this hand and the inside of my arm here like a rear naked choke grip, and then when he transitions, right, he throws this leg over, I'm ready to catch this leg here, right? And again, we can either use his momentum to come up, or I can start bridging to do things. Right, that's great, but that, that's the assumption that he's definitely going for the armbar, right? If he doesn't, and he goes instead for the back take, we're gonna have to have a different option. Right, so he's got his gift wrap, he's got his, the Kimura grip. So for the back take, right, can you go ahead and do a back take really quick? Yes, right, he's gonna pull me to the opposite side, and right from here he can get his hooks in. So my goal here is gonna be, I don't know if it's two parts, but I need to be able to keep him from pulling me over to the other side, right? And I want to keep control over what will be his right leg, or what is his right leg. So, can I go back? Right, so we're here, right? And he starts to make this transition, right? As he goes, right, he starts to sit back. My feet need to be engaged with the floor here. Right? And I'm going to use my feet to drive my body over this leg. right? And I've got to keep good weight on the bottom leg, right? I don't want my butt on the floor because if I'm light here, he's going to be able to just turn me over to the other side, right? So I'm going to drive so that I have good weight here, right? And now I'm going to start turning into him, right? Or if I need to break this grip, I can too, right? So either we can bring this arm up and around here, and now I have the space to bring my elbow to the floor, right? Right, so if he's still gripping, this is a good place to break the grip, right? Where we can just kind of push, where I'm rotating my wrist as I push away, right? And I don't want to just let him re-grab it, so I'm going to keep it at a distance here, right? I can dig this elbow into the space if I can, right? Or I can try and remove the R4 on my head. And I like to bring my elbow to the floor here, right? And then turn and come up into the guard, right? If you're confident in your passing.
Do you want to do it the other way so that I don't think they can conceal that elbow work, which I think is super important.
Sure.
So which way you're going? This way.
Right. So once he sits back, keep engaged, and I push, and I'm staying heavy here. Right? And now I can start trying to turn, but if I'm caught here with this gift wrap, I'm going to break this, right? And then try and get this elbow to the floor. Right? And either I can just keep shrimping and start passing here, or probably cutting your losses will be just coming up and do this close guard, which may be a pain to pass, but you know, take what you can get. Right? And this is also very timing oriented, right? Where I need to do this as he makes this transition here. If I wait until he's all the way over here, right, I can push and it's gonna be too late. Like I can't get on top of his leg anymore. Now I have to start worrying about reverse triangles, all sorts of stuff. Okay, so that's
Well, you're talking more about, in the first instance, I'm sorry, maybe I misunderstood, about just when I'm trying to make hooks as opposed to get over your shoulder. Does it matter how you do it? I mean, I guess if you're beating my bottom leg, neither one is going to be possible.
where? Which?
So the way I was taking it back was I was more thinking about, dominating your shoulders, making this, as opposed to,
You can do that.
here. But so I think with the way that you're escaping by, trapping my bottom leg, it's not going to really allow me to do either one of those things.
Hopefully.
If you do it correctly.
It depends on the person, yeah, but if I'm active enough and I make sure to get my shoulders over, I should be able to do that. Right, so see how his knee is tucked under here, right? As he goes, right, I'm thinking about driving and I want to get my shoulder over the top here, and then I can start making that transition. Right, something very similar to that is also this old armbar defense that Tim Sled taught me a long time ago.
Yeah, just go right to armbar, or you want me to come?
Yeah,
on the mount?
armbar here is fine. Right, I don't like this as much as like hitting it on the transition, but the concept is the same. Right, classic armbar defense is going to be where I'm trying to push this leg that's on my face. Right, I want to push it to the floor and get my head and then my shoulders here. Right, and then same thing. Right, I need to get my elbow to the floor to defeat whatever grip he has, and then I can turn into him and come up here. Right, and it's a good little escape. That escape is why I started doing leg hack, because people were always pushing it to the floor. So I feel like it's unreliable when you're in that armbar position. It's really hard to push that leg off of your face if they don't want it to go, which is why I recommend like hitting it on the transition. But it is doable, right? If you're stuck in this armbar position. I just prefer the other options. Okay, so we're being armbarred here, right? And usually we would start in this like rear naked choke defense grip, right? Just to make sure we have enough space so that we can kind of come down here.
Yeah.
But yeah, this
That's
is
what you mean.
exactly like
Yeah.
why I like
This
that like that, right? But if I'm able to like
Get
punch this down, yeah, and then big drive up,
Yeah.
then we can start coming up here.
Seems so simple, Kevin. I don't understand why anybody ever gets arm locked and back taped. Did.
I like the. I really like doing this one as they make the transition, especially because this back tape is one of my favorites. I'll do it to you, but-
So I have to come. Yeah. Here. I still don't get out from here because you still have this. You have a nice figure four, even here. Then you just switch over to the unlock, I think. No.
Usually I'll try on
You try to come up. Oh yeah. All right. Yep.
or retake.
Come back. Yep. So this is when the person really 100% commits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ow. Alright, and then you're gonna come. You have to break this curve. That's the other thing. Is like
Yeah.
You have to.
That is super hard.
That's not that easy. When you're super tight, like you're holding it, like here trying to break this grip is really hard. Like here, right here,
You
it's
can
like
do that, but it's like
yeah.
you're still in a bad
This
spot.
is not good.
Right. At least you have like control of my bottom leg, so I'm not going to be able to easily immediately transition. Right. If you allow your weight to come off, then I'll be able to turn you over and retake your back. So you kind of just want to sit on that leg until you feel like you're able to get that elbow free, or you're able to turn it within there.
Now, do you have any ways, like preemptively, to avoid the gift wrap?
Yes, that's the next part, right? So like I said, getting gift wrap is a common problem for beginners because, again, we tell people to turn onto their side, right? Which is like, it is important, right? It creates space between their hips to the floor, and it also allows us to shrink, right? So what you need to know though is that when I turn to my side, I cannot allow this arm to just come to this hip here, right? This isn't gonna help me. This is actually making my life worse. All I'm doing here is exposing my back. I'm not actually escaping or doing anything productive. So when I'm here and I shrimp, this elbow stays on the same side hip, right, as my arm. So I'm able to keep him from driving up here, right? This technique is more of a no-gi thing, because the reason people like to do this and they like to turn is because of common chokes, right? But in gi, or no-gi, I don't have to worry about that. So when I turn, I feel free to have my hands not involved with my neck.
I actually think this is still true for no-gi.
For gi?
For gi, rather. I'm sorry, because if you make this nice frame, I'm not going to be choking you, right? I can make an attachment, but this, like, if I just come in and I have to like close this distance, still, even if I have grips, I can't, it's very difficult to make those grips and make them effective, even if you have really long arms, if you've already made these frames, right? And so with the gi, people, this makes it so easy. Like, yeah, you're defending your neck, but now it's so easy. And you have a gi, so now it's easy for all of these bow and arrow chokes, right? So even this, I think this elbow is something that I do, and I think it's for gi or no gi, and I think you can even make it even better. I'll hold the belt, I'll hold pants, so that way there's no, because sometimes people will try to drive it across. So with the belt or a lapel, now that is just so attached to the body that it's really hard. And then what happens is this knee comes up. So if you shrimp out now, there's all that space, and then I get
That's cool.
So that's I think that works for both. That works for both. If you can make that frame, I think it's a really good frame. I think those are like that idea right there is if you can
do that effectively, then you won't have to do an unlock escape.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if you get into those, the people who are good enough to get you into a deep arm lock, like against your will, or a deep, like get your back from that sort of thing, they're probably good enough to finish you.
Yeah.
Usually, you know, and so you don't want to let somebody get that advanced on you. Now, if you can't help it, you can't. That person's just better than you. Then they're just better than you. Maybe you can get out late, but it's always better. You're going to be doing a lot less work by preventing than doing the late thing.
Yeah, I would say
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
exactly.
Is
Like there are
It's a shame.
things in jiu-jitsu, or there's a tendency in jiu-jitsu to emphasize like being relaxed, not using strength, being flowy, being more receptive to what the other person is doing. This is not one of those things, right? If I get this elbow across, like I will fight tooth and nail to make sure that you cannot grab this wrist, or I can get this elbow back. And if you start to get it, like I need to prevent that from happening, because if you do manage to get that grip solidified with the Kimura grip or the gift wrap, like that's, if the guy knows what they're doing, that's
I think it's at that point where they make a gift wrap on you, you're relying on a mistake on their part.
Yeah.
You should. It's like you give up your back. The only way you're really getting out is if the other person isn't good. Isn't better than you already. So, people make mistakes and they get their back taken or whatever, and they're still able to escape because they're just, for whatever reason, maybe they're injured or they're tired. They had a long match beforehand. Maybe the other person just has there's a mismatch in timing. Who knows what? But you're still better than the person. It's like when you're rolling with a blue belt. And you're thinking about your taxes or something, and the person takes your back, and you're still able to just, kind of brush them off. But if you take my back, you're gonna tap me out 95% of the time, unless you're thinking about your taxes when I'm focused, right? So yeah, prevention. It's very interesting because I was just looking at some DVDs on escapes, and they talk about late and they talk about early escapes, but and sometimes they'll talk about escapes into offense, and those are kind of my favorite things to do. But you want to be spending more. I think it's more profitable probably to spend more time checking the hips,
Yes.
than it is to be doing escapes from people that are on late stage arm locks.
Yeah, I agree.
It's probably better for your long-term health too, in terms of your joints and your spirits.
Probably.
Because it's going to be a lot of failure, right? It's like there's failure baked into trying to escape the back, because the back is such a dominant position. Anyway.
I agree. For me, like that particular position was always so problematic. So personally, like I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to get out of there, because I just like spent so much time there.
The
It's a common
the
transition.
other thing that is interesting, and we don't do this here, is the Gary Tonin and Gordon Ryan
Oh, the
mount escape, which you see they don't unless they want to, they don't even turn on their side to
Yeah.
get out.
Well, they're so leg lock heavy that makes the most tactical sense for them, I think.
But they get out of it. I mean, they don't get mounted, and it's not like Gary isn't scrambling and getting, almost mounted in many instances. It's just that no one's really able to hold. I think it was Taza. I think it was Taza versus somebody. I forget who it was, and he lost. But maybe it was one of the Rotolos. I think it was one of the Rotolo twins. And, he got mounted at one point. He was able to do that, I don't know what they call that.
I was
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the taking off your pants kind of
Yeah.
thing. Do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, you're probably better at it than I am.
I don't know if I can
I'm pretty terrible at this.
Is-
It's like a little
Is it
flipper
lights up?
kick. Yeah. It's like really.
Because we want to get their weight high.
Yep. And then
then,
Yep.
but they do it more like,
There's because sometimes the person's really tight on you, right? And so the other thing about these escapes is when the person is really low, right, and has their hips in and they're crossing their feet, like you're not going to elbow escape on this, right? And so, but you can do this one, right? Boom. And now you're on a leg attack because my feet are low or I'm getting out.
I like that one.
But so that's just an example of
not getting onto your side and not exposing. I mean, you may be stuck in the, like, you might be stuck in the mount, but like you're saying, with no gi, there's not as many consequences because they don't have a front choke on you.
Yeah.
And they don't have, you know, even if they get you sideways, they're not going to have that collar choke on you, that reach zipper choke. I forget what they call that.
That was it's still a clock choke, isn't it?
It's like that. It comes around. I think I'd call it a zipper.
Little choke.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's like a whatever. No names in jiu-jitsu. Right? It's some sort of shimiwaza in
Yes.
judo.
The shimiwazas.
Shimiwaza.
Another thing, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes. Please, sorry, I made you digress.
Oh, it's fine. So let's say we turn onto our side and, right, like I got over ambitious and I, this, what is that? An elbow
Grip arm.
crossed my center line. Right, so when this happens, alright, that's fine, right? But what I don't want to do is bring this up, right? Because if I allow my hand to come up towards my neck, he's gonna grab it. Right, so I'm going to be down here, right, and I just got to keep my hands away. Again, I'm not really afraid of being choked here, so I don't have to defend anything in particular, right, but, just keep this hand away from his hand. If he starts reaching for it, I'm going to not let him get it, right, so how would you try and get a gift wrap from here? And especially if they turn into that high side position, right? So.
I mean, like this?
Yeah.
Oh, here.
Yeah. So if this happens, right? Usually, assuming that I'm not gift wrapped yet,
Rapid.
Rapided.
So much bonus.
If assuming I'm still not gift wrapped here, this is where I like to do that thing you do, where I start to try and fish underneath this leg. And if I can get two legs under here, like even if he has whatever grip he wants here, right, he's not going to finish it, right? You can do whatever you want. What do you want to do?
I mean, this is not a good position for me.
It's great.
Right? I
Right?
mean,
Even if he, sits
I
for the arm.
would want to kind of like come in here to stay here, because now if I start doing this, I'm off balance. You're just going to knock me over.
Can you do it?
What?
Do the thing?
Do what thing?
Armbar?
No, I can't get your wrist.
I
think you can do this to
do
me.
it without it. Like, just do the leg away. Right? So if he does, right, there's no way he's getting this. Assuming I keep my hand behind his leg. Right? So I can use his own limbs to hide it. Right? And then once I get double under there, I feel super confident.
Yeah.
Right? And even if he does nothing, I'm going to be able to either escape out the back or I can roll you over. Right? But occasionally it can be hard to swim in there.
I mean, if they're really tight. So this is also a little digression, but from this position, this arm is the real problem to me.
For you.
Yeah. So everyone's focused on this and your head, right? But this is the arm that is the real
I had a guy who
problem
used
for me.
to.
Yeah, pull
Yeah.
up. You're not going anywhere with this.
Yeah.
This is the
Far out
this is
control.
the real dominant.
Yeah.
If you can get that kind of either hook, like scoop grip on that arm,
Well, it gives you full rotational control over the
of
body.
course it's stuck.
Yeah.
You know.
So like hide that arm, and then usually if they're being super tight with their legs, we're gonna have to do some sort of hip movement in order to get space in between this leg that's gonna be in the tummy. Right, so sometimes we can shrimp out, or I'll like drive my hips in and then make some space here. One moment.
What's up, man? Hi. You gotta keep your mask on.
One second.
Sorry about that.
He had poop. I'm just kidding.
That's on tape. All right, what are we doing?
High side. Right, so we're in the high side. We don't let him get a gift wrap. Right, so I want to be able to get this under here. Right, sometimes I can with this, but this is too much elbow sticking up out of the mat. Right, so instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift forward here so that I can get under this foot. Right, and now I can shrimp back and start swimming underneath, or at least like just shove my hand
I
under
like that.
here.
That's pretty cool.
Right?
Now I can't get it back. Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Right? Even if he's trying to keep this super tight here, right?
Oh, I like
I
that.
should be able to push
How
it.
come you never showed me that before, Kevin?
I
You've
just
been
made it
holding out on me, bastard.
Yeah, different
Thought
here.
we were friends, Kevin, and now I see you have these secret techniques. You've not been sharing them with me.
You do that to me.
No, I've never done that to you. If I had done that to you,
This,
I
like,
would
is
have been
your-
showing it already on the video. No, you can't have this stuff. Right? So, what? You got to bridge up,
It's more like a shrimp forward.
shrimp forward. Now I could just stay here like this. But you still get this leg out. I've been here with you a million times, and
What
you're
leg?
still this leg.
What do you mean? Out? Where's it gonna go?
I don't know, but you managed to get it out. Alright, go back. So it's more of a shrimp forward?
It's like a.
A forward shrimp. Oh, okay, I see. So it's more this than a bridge. I see.
It's a hump.
Oh,
We
okay.
can call it what it is.
This is a family friendly show.
Humping makes families. It's family friendly as it
Stop.
gets.
Stop. So the first step is make your frame.
Yes, you should be more on your side to start that.
I don't want to be on my side though. So then it's
Yeah.
here.
Push that
Ah.
forward.
I don't like this though. Well, I mean, I guess what are you going to do from here?
I mean, if you keep your arms hidden, it's going to be really hard for me to do anything.
Because you don't have my arm already.
Correct.
Right. So if you have my arm here,
Then
this will
this is
be,
different.
yeah, now we're in bad shape here. I like this, Kevin.
So do the whole thing.
So if we're here, and you're gonna, right?
Say someone.
But I don't want to give you this. I don't want to give you this arm, right? So we're here. I'm not gonna get this arm out. I'll be here. Just come in. No, you can't have that. Stop that. You don't want that. I wouldn't get that far. I like the concept.
Yeah.
I like the concept of when they step over to be here. Because usually you're here like this. Go like in,
Where am I?
like go mount. Right? And you're here, right? I step, you're gonna switch or you switch?
I usually wait until honestly I don't switch unless I have the arm because I'm afraid of all this happening.
Yeah.
But if we're here,
I'm gonna get here. How's that? Like, no, what are you gonna do from here?
from here I like to attack
The bottom arm.
this and then try and swoop
Yeah.
under here and attack. But that's rare.
That's tough. Well, nobody really does this because you've never shown this to anybody here. Cheater.
So
Here.
attacking, you're turning onto your side. Here.
I'm gonna switch. Oh, that's not gonna be.
You're very grabby here. I don't grab.
Well, I'm trying to make that space and
Well,
frame
you
here.
just need enough space to get your arm underneath.
So this is gonna go back. Here. There. Do you do like a C grip here? Like that? What do you do here? You're just here?
Mm-hmm.
No, you grab my leg.
I grabbed it to get it under, but so. Alright, so we got in here, and then
So
I
at first it's
switch,
this, okay.
and then usually
Then
I'll
you're
just
just
be
doing, okay.
Alright, and then you can try whatever it is that you would try normally.
I'm just gonna step off.
That's probably the safest
Right?
way, yeah. But if you go for the armbar or for the back
I
take,
mean, there's
like
nothing.
I'm already
Yeah,
under
there's,
here.
there's nothing here.
Okay.
When I just fall off. And you're actually sweeping your hips back. You're walking your hips back when you fall. So, here. And then what'd you do? You came here. Right?
Mhm.
And that's when I started yanking here really hard as I can. That's legal, right?
I think so, and depending. It's if you hook.
Reverse. I prefer the term reverse to hold.
Yes. outside to hold, right? Inside to hold. Here. I like this little thing here.
Okay, but I'm still. And then, I don't know, I might have to get this behind there. Because otherwise you can just pull it into yourself. So you need to go here and then just rip it. That's good.
I don't like this.
That would be bad. So I'm going to get crying. Okay, I like that. That's a very nice way to get that foot up in the air from the high side. That's a really, I don't think I've seen too many people show that kind of defense. That's pretty cool. You want to show it one more time? Sure. Yeah, I like that. Pay attention, kids. This is stuff you don't see.
You can do the gift wrap this time. I want to see if it'll work. Right, so if we are gift wrapped here, the gift wrap is what I got to address first. Right? If I just try and pull, it's not going to work, right? So you use your other hand, and it's almost like I'm rolling out, right? Because assuming most people Kimura with thumbless grips, right? So if we pop it here, we're good, right? And now I can start trying to get under this leg.
That's pretty good. Let's do one more. Let's do one more. Okay, that's good.
Pop, heel, arm safety.
See, you're holding the whole time.
Yeah, I feel I like this.
All right, let's go back. Wait. One more time, one more time.
One more time.
I think that time you shrimped out.
That time I tried
You kinda
walking the other
shrimped.
way.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see
So
if
you
it
can
would
play
work.
with it a little bit, right? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, once I have my arms hidden, I'm feeling really good. And if I can just swim here, right? That's a good thing, right? But if I need to,
I like that one a lot better. Can I say why?
sure.
Because when you go to the first one where you just go your arm in, I think there's still opportunity for me not to finish you from here, right? But I can either hold this or
Yeah, this is problematic.
so.
So if I can keep my elbow in, that's nice. And then from
I
here,
gotta get out of here. That's pretty good. That's worth the whole.
the time it took to watch it, hope so.
Do one more time. I want to make sure we have a good take. So I want you to just walk through it from the high side.
So we do from mount.
Yeah.
Alright, so I start turning over, but my elbow gets caught, so you gift wrap first before you do that. Oh, go back. I don't like that.
Why?
You gotta get the gift wrap first.
Oh, I do?
Of course.
Why?
Because if you just move into high side without it, I'm just gonna turn.
Not
into this
necessarily.
I am.
You will. All right. So fine.
So we're here. Yeah, there you go. Alright, so if they transition in that's when we do the first couple things, right? But if they decide to hang out, alright, then we can try and break this, get under this leg, and then one more. I did the dress grip there. I just wanted to see how it felt.
Over here. No barrel. Oh. That's what I wanted to do. I was planning for that one. I should have rolled through and done the leg lock.
So yeah, hiding your arms behind other people's arms or legs. All right, and this is a concept that comes up throughout Armbar Defense. Can you armbar me from guard real quick? All right, so even the classic defense here, he goes for it, right? Starts with the rear naked choke defense, where I'm using this this hand here behind the leg, right? And I can stack here, right? But one thing that I like to do here is then I'll pass so that the arm that's being attacked, right, it can now come in behind the leg here, right? And once this is in and I'm comfortable, I don't think it's gonna get torn out, then I can take the first defending arm out and start using it, you know, to control the hips or to start like pushing them down to the side, right? But I can't do that. I can't just take this arm out and try and deal with this, because if I do, he's just gonna armbar me, right? But once I get this arm here, all right, go ahead and try and finish it.
It's just not gonna happen, right? Because the more I pull, it's actually I'm kind of pulling down on my own leg.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of I'm counter pressuring my own arm lock here by pulling down. I'm actually pulling my own arm or my own leg down.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna work. I mean, if someone's really super strong, maybe.
It's going to be dangerous,
Right?
right?
'Cause somebody could like kick out
exactly
right here.
Right. So if that happens, you know, get it back to where it was, right? So be careful, right? But if I'm here, this will buy me a second, enough to start getting this leg out, and then
It also puts a lot of pressure on the wrist.
yeah.
Right, when you're here like that, you have that kind of grip, and then all of a sudden someone's here and they're like locking your own leg, and then this starts doing this.
Can I feel it?
You gotta let me get there.
Sorry.
Right now, you're on the wrong arm now. There you go. So when you're here, right?
Yeah.
It's like your arm is no longer. You know how you always say you like to keep your elbow. This hand goes all the way to that other side.
Yeah.
You know, like if you have that, and even if I have this, right? This is. I don't know if you can see.
Right, your arm is so far across right here. It's like I'm not gonna break. It's very hard to break that grip.
Yeah.
Once I start doing that, it starts coming across a little bit and it gets onto your wrist. You know, it's definitely different if you're, you know, you have long arms, right, compared to me. So you're gonna be able to get but me against you, I don't have as, you know, my forearms aren't as long as yours.
5 arms.
That's not that much of a difference. But I think if you can get the wrist kind of bent, obviously it's going to be.
Oh, knee armbar. And I think this will work from bottom too, right? If we manage to get this rear naked choke grip happening, right? If I can pass this in here, right, then I'm going to be safe, right? As long as this is able to stay behind this leg. One thing I don't like, right, is hiding my arms behind things that Rich is in charge of, right? Because if I use his legs to protect my arm, he can move them. He can change the situation or the conditions, and now I'm going to be exposed.
That's
right?
what you do to me. I get this. I don't know if you let me get here, but I do this. I think a lot,
And then you just pop
and then you just pull it out, and then it's right into that leg hat for me. You know.
Well, you do this. You do the arm hiding
Yeah,
thing a lot. So then,
you got good at it.
so you know, usually if I have a choice, I would rather protect my arm here with either like my own leg or my own arm, because I'm in charge of those things, and I'm not gonna, unless I make a mistake, I'm not gonna remove my own defenses at my own will, right? But you know, if you only have one option available, right, and all you can do is get this arm here, you know, take this opportunity and protect your arm, but you know, try and change the conditions to one that you know you have more control over. You know, I usually prefer to use his legs to defend my arms. In situations where I'm on top, I'm able to stack them up. You're not able to like extend as easily or as quickly. But you know, if all you can see or all you can think of is, you know, I'm just gonna hide my arm behind his leg, you know, that could be your best opportunity. But I wouldn't I wouldn't want to be there and give you time to solve the problem, you know, because if I just do that, you're gonna pop it, and I'm gonna be exposed.
That's not a long-term solution. You might buy yourself a few. I mean, because you're unhooking your own arms, right? So you go from here, you swim in, and then now, as soon as that pops back in, if it does, your arm's going to get extended,
Yes.
right? So you you only have a second or two to make something out of that.
Yeah.
It's not
But it's definitely doable. But yeah, definitely like, you know, defend it however you're defending it, and move on to the next thing. Like move into a better position, either on top or whatever else. Different options you can do. But yeah, hiding that arm. Yeah, I like that one. Just like, don't panic, right? If someone gets that gift wrap, you know, a lot of the time they're just waiting for you to make a mistake or do something simple. So the first thing you got to do is like relax, not too much, right? Don't let them go on to the next thing they want, but you know, you don't want to be panicking and making decisions, right? Just think about what you got to do. Like, try and prevent the gift wrap if you can, but if they have it, you know, think about what transitions are available to them, right? What are they most likely to do? When they have that, it's usually going to be an armbar, or it's going to be a back take. I suppose it could be like a head-on triangle too, but those are the most common, most dangerous things, I think. And then escape mid-transition if you can, right? It's super hard to get out of something if nobody's moving. You know, if Rich is just sitting there like looking at me and like holding tight, that's not the ideal time to do stuff. Usually it's like as they move, or if like we can create movement and then go from there. I don't know what the point of that was, but
just to say what your timing ought to be.
yeah, it's going to be easier to escape or really do anything when motion is occurring at the time. People are a lot lighter, they're easier to move. So that's usually my recommendation. Like, think about what they're likely to do and prepare, you know, your movement for when they do that thing. And sometimes that'll get caught because you predict the wrong thing, and you know, you're zigging and they're zagging, and you end up getting your back taken and you get armbarred. But it just comes with practice.
I think that to that point, you know, the escapes are not something that people really practice a lot or drill a lot. It's probably not the worst thing, right? Like, you shouldn't be drilling, you know, totally defensive stuff, but you know, if you think that you're going to do this stuff or pull it out of your back pocket when somebody is aggressively trying to break your arm or, you know, keep you in a position, then that's probably not going to be, if that's all the practice that you're getting is, oh yeah, I saw this arm lock escape. Or you try the escape a couple times and, you know, okay, you feel like you're kind of comfortable with it. It's not going to be the same thing as like game speed. And you ought to, if you really want, like anything else, right, you should drill. It's like for EBI or, you know, those types of rule sets where now they have the EBI overtime rule set where you just, you know, it's so, you know, all the matches started just going to overtime, so they said, let's just get rid of the matches. We'll just go right to OT.
Yeah.
And you see those guys, and they have to, that whole game is, can you get out faster than the other guy, or can you finish, right? So if you're in the top position, then, you know, part of it is the skill of just keeping the person in the position, because you can win just by maintaining the position longer than the other person can, right? Yeah. So if you can just delay them or stall them out in the spider web or in the back control, as long as your defenses are better than theirs, you're going to get out quicker. But I guess the point is just practice.
Yeah,
drill it.
Positional sparring. Even if, like, you know, if let's say you're in high side here, right, and I'm trying to practice my defense, right, we could start here, right? What can Rich do if he doesn't have the gift wrap here? What are the dangers, right? Here, probably the main danger is going to be armbar, right? He just brings this arm over and he just squishes my head down and goes, right? So we could start practicing from there, right? We could also start here, right? What can Rich try and do if I do manage to hide both of my arms, right? Is there something that I've forgotten, right? And if we're positional sparring, Rich is going to get clever, right? And he's going to start making stuff up that, like, could be dangerous, right? Maybe I forgot that there's an easy guillotine or rear naked choke. Yeah, anything.
The executioner.
Executioner, right? But I want to get to the point where if I start here, like, I know I'm going to survive. no matter what Rich does. And you're gonna have to iron out some of the details there because the person on top could be trying to do stuff that maybe we didn't cover here. All right, but once I get comfortable and I know I can defend here no matter what, then I'm more likely to try and do this as I'm sparring because it's proven to work, right? And drilling it just at normal, like, technical drilling speed isn't going to give you that same confidence as, being here. And I've been here live 100 times with Rich, so I know that as long as I get to that position, I'll be fine, right? But it definitely.
Spend time doing it.
Defense, you're only going to get comfortable when you defend against people who are legitimately trying to take your arm off or choke you out.
You have to have the confidence in the defense, and you're not just the defense. You can see people do defenses all the time that work well at the highest levels. But if you haven't done them, then the pressures that you're gonna experience are going to cause you to revert back to just curling up or something else that maybe won't get you out. And so you have to have that confidence of drilling. I mean, that's where the effectiveness of these techniques come in, is that you've drilled them enough times that you believe that they work in your, in your heart of hearts. If I just keep doing what I'm doing, I've done it enough times, I know I will get positive results.
Yeah.
But if you do it only in the times where people have smashed you and taken your, and then you try to do this out of some recollection of something you saw, or even if you've only tried it a couple times and just, like you just learned it in class and you do a couple of drills, you do 20 times, and then you don't do it ever again.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. It's not going to work for you when it really matters. You really need it to work.
Plus, like, if you get so good at a defense, if Rich doesn't think he's going to finish an armbar,
I won't even go there.
Yeah, he's not even going to go to mount. Problem solved.
That's the problem with training with people that you know all the time, though.
Yeah.
Because we all sort of understand what we're good and bad at, and so you just start spamming those things as best you can, but that's not what other people are going to do, right? Other people are not going to be dissuaded necessarily because they know that your defense is really good or that you're really good at countering one thing. Because once you stop doing those things, like once I've decided like I can't arm lock Kevin and I'm never going to arm lock him again, I just give up, I concede that, then you stop practicing it. And then when somebody, who's really good at an arm lock at that position,
they don't know that they should be afraid.
they're just going to go whole hog on your arm, and if you're not in good practice, then it kind of cuts both ways. All right, good stuff, Kevin.
Thank you.
Those are my favorite classes where I learn something. Thanks, guys.
It's your jiu-jitsu.
Well, it's always fun to see like the seed of things that like people do, and then what they make out of it. You know what I mean? Like you can show somebody something sometimes, or talk about something, whatever. You know what I mean? You plant that seed, and sometimes you don't even know. Right? You're just like, oh, I did this one thing once, and then you talk about it, and then somebody just like takes it and builds out this whole thing on that one little, seed.
It's like fractals.
Hmm?
Fractals, man.
Fractals. I don't know what that means. That's. You just taken my jiu-jitsu and made it a lot better. And I don't know that it's my jiu-jitsu. It's probably Henzo's or John's.